1,000 medieval knights charge across an open field. Full plate armor, lances leveled, war horses thundering. They're the most advanced military force of their era. Unstoppable heavy cavalry that crushed armies across Europe. Ahead of them, 3,000 Spartans stand in perfect formation. Bronze shields locked, spears angled forward, silent, motionless, waiting. The knights expect the infantry to break and run. Infantry always runs from cavalry charge. But Spartans don't run. They've trained for this moment since they were 7 years old. They've never lost. One side has superior technology and mobility. The other has superior discipline and tactics refined over centuries. When they collide, which warrior culture survives? The heavily armored individual fighters or the perfectly synchronized killing machine? Before we dive into this fictional tactical showdown between two legendary warrior cultures separated by 17 centuries, answer today's question of the day. In a fight, would you rather have better armor or better teamwork? Drop your answer in the comments. We want to see what you value more. Now let's explore what really happens when medieval knights face ancient Spartan hoplites on an open battlefield. Let's begin. The year is irrelevant. This is a thought experiment. We're placing 1,000 medieval knights, circa 1300 CE, against 3,000 Spartan hoplites from their military peak around 450 BCE. The battlefield is open plains, no fortifications, no terrain advantages, just two fundamentally different approaches to warfare meeting head-on. The knights represent the pinnacle of medieval military technology. Each warrior wears full plate armor, 60 to 70 pounds of steel that covers them from head to toe. They ride destrier war horses bred specifically for combat, weighing 1,500 pounds. They carry 12-foot lances, longswords, maces, and shields. Each knight is a mobile fortress, capable of crushing through infantry formations through sheer mass and momentum. They've won battles across Europe using shock cavalry tactics perfected over centuries. Individual knights are skilled fighters trained from childhood in mounted combat, swordsmanship, and lance work. The Spartans represent something entirely different. Each hoplite wears a bronze cuirass, greaves, and helmet, approximately 50 pounds of armor. They carry 8-foot spears, short swords, and massive bronze shields weighing 15 pounds each. But their real advantage isn't equipment. It's the phalanx, 8 ranks deep, shields overlapping, spears bristling forward at precisely calculated angles. They move as a single organism. Every man trusts the warrior beside him completely because they've trained together for years. Spartan military training begins at age 7 and continues until death. They don't fight as individuals. They fight as a unified wall of bronze and flesh. The battle begins. Knights charge at full gallop, lances lowered. The psychological impact is devastating. The ground shakes, armor clanks, thousands of pounds of horseflesh and steel bearing down. Most infantry formations would break from fear alone. The Spartans don't move. They stand in perfect formation, shields locked, spears ready. This is what they trained for. This is what they do. The charge hits the phalanx. Lances strike shields. Some penetrate, killing Spartans in the front rank, but most shatter against overlapping bronze. Horses crash into the shield wall. Some horses die, impaled on Spartan spears. Others rear back, refusing to charge into the bristling spear points. Knights in the front ranks are thrown from horses or trapped in the press of bodies. The phalanx doesn't break. It absorbs the impact. Front rank Spartans die, maybe 200 in the initial collision, but the second rank immediately steps forward, filling gaps. The formation holds. Knights who penetrated the line are now surrounded, fighting on all sides. Plate armor protects them initially, but Spartans target joints, horses, and exposed areas. A knight on foot, surrounded by coordinated spear thrusts from multiple angles, doesn't last long. The surviving knights wheel around for another charge. This is where cavalry doctrine says you regroup and charge again from a different angle. But the Spartans have rotated to face them. The phalanx is slower than cavalry, but not immobile. They shift formation, present the same wall of shields and spears. The second charge is less effective than the first. Horses are more reluctant, knights more cautious. Fewer penetrate the line. More are killed by spear thrusts. After the third charge fails, the knights face a crisis. Cavalry tactics are exhausted. The phalanx still holds. Perhaps 700 knights remain. The Spartan phalanx has lost maybe 500 men but maintained cohesion. Now the Spartans advance, slowly, deliberately. The shield wall moves forward like a bronze glacier, pushing over wounded knights and dead horses. Knights who stand to fight are surrounded and killed by coordinated spearwork. Knights who flee are pursued by Spartan reserves who break formation specifically for this purpose. The psychological advantage shifts completely. Knights are used to winning through shock and awe. When that fails, they have no doctrine for fighting disciplined heavy infantry on foot. Some knights dismount and try to fight as infantry, but medieval knights aren't trained for formation fighting. They're trained for individual combat. Against Spartans who fight as a collective unit, individual skill is negated. A lone knight might kill 1 or 2 Spartans, but the phalanx closes around him and brings him down through coordinated strikes. By battle's end, the Spartans win decisively. Perhaps 400 knights escape. 1,500 Spartans are dead or wounded. It's brutal, it's costly, but it's a Spartan victory. Not because Spartans are better individual fighters, they're not. A knight in single combat against a hoplite probably wins due to superior armor and weapons. But this isn't single combat. It's formation warfare. And in formation warfare, discipline beats technology. The critical lesson is that medieval cavalry tactics are designed for fighting other cavalry and disorganized infantry. Against a disciplined, cohesive phalanx that refuses to break, cavalry charges become suicide runs. Horses won't repeatedly charge into a wall of spears. Knights lack the training to fight effectively dismounted against organized heavy infantry. The Spartans built their entire military system around one core principle: hold the line, no matter what. Against enemies who depend on breaking that line, they're nearly unbeatable. But the scenario can shift. If the battlefield has rougher terrain that breaks up the phalanx, knights win. If knights have crossbowmen support to weaken the phalanx before charging, knights win. If the battle lasts multiple days and logistics matter, knights probably win because they have better supply systems. The Spartan victory requires specific conditions: open terrain, no missile support for the knights, and a battle of limited duration where formation discipline is decisive. The deeper insight is about military systems. Knights represent individual excellence supported by superior technology. Spartans represent collective excellence supported by training and discipline. Neither is inherently superior. They're optimized for different contexts. Knights dominate medieval European warfare because their enemies are mostly other knights or poorly trained infantry. Spartans dominated Greek warfare because their enemies were mostly other phalanx formations. When these systems meet, the outcome depends on which system's strengths are more relevant to the specific battlefield conditions. History shows us that technological advancement eventually beats discipline. By the time of the Roman legions, even Spartan-style phalanxes were defeated by more flexible heavy infantry with better tactics. And medieval knights themselves eventually became obsolete when firearms made armor irrelevant. But in this specific matchup, knights versus Spartans on open ground, the ancient warriors win through discipline and formation tactics that medieval cavalry can't counter effectively. Now, before you go, make sure to subscribe if you want more tactical breakdowns of legendary warrior matchups throughout history. And I want to hear from you. Do you think the outcome would be different if the knights had more time to study Spartan tactics before the battle? Which warrior culture would you rather fight alongside? The individual excellence of knights or the collective discipline of Spartans? And if modern special forces had to choose between these two training approaches, which would be more effective? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this made you reconsider whether advanced technology always beats superior training, share it with someone who thinks the side with better gear always wins. Because sometimes discipline is the ultimate weapon, and the Spartans proved it for 3 centuries.